So, what is house sitting and why would you ever want to use it?
I'm Brian,
I'm Michelle.
and we're going to tell you about how we booked over 200 nights with trusted house sitters before we ever got our first review. And I believe we're up to over 300 nights now.
300 in our first year.
In our first year.
So, house sitting is where you help a homeowner out by watching over their home, possibly their pets, maybe watering a few flowers in exchange for free accommodations. Usually a nice kitchen where you can cook your own dinner, so you've taken the major expense out of traveling. When you think about what you spend the most money on, it's usually lodging after you get discount airfare. But having the lodging costs taken out of the equation makes traveling actually affordable. So who can do this? Well, people like us, retirees, early retirees. You can, as digital nomads, backpackers. You have to remember that the people that you're house sitting for are looking for responsible and reliable.
I've never been called responsible or reliable, but thanks.
You're welcome. Basically, anyone can house sit.
There are multiple ways to find house sits around the world. Everything from free groups on Facebook to numerous websites. We prefer to use trustedhousesitters.com, and here's why. Free sites are absolutely flooded with people that are just looking for a free or cheap place to live, where that you don't really know what you're getting, who you're getting. It's something I would be a little hesitant myself to really get into.
As a homeowner, if I'm going to allow someone into my home to live, to take care of my animals, I want to know that I can trust them. I want to feel safe with them in my home around my babies.
One of the reasons that we chose Trusted House Sitters was they actually do a background check and verify your identification so that homeowners know who they're getting and I know where I'm going.
The homeowners also go through a background check, so that makes us feel safer as travelers, knowing that we're going to a reputable place to live that's not involved in any sort of nefarious schemes or criminal activity.
That's a really big word.
I know.
Okay. Trusted House Sitters has 3 different levels of membership, and we're going to explain to you why you really need to pay attention to what you're picking here. First, there is a basic level. It is the cheapest one. It gets you in, and chances are you will eventually get a house sit, albeit probably not quite the one that you want. When we first started, we chose to go with the middle tier. It was only a little bit more. It gave us the ability to do searches and set alerts when something came up for what we actually wanted to do and places that we wanted to go. The top tier is something that, well, it's very well described on their site, and I'll let you read about that and figure out if it's for you. When we first started, we did not use it, and we were able to book over 300 nights without using it. We've since added it on just because if somebody does cancel a sit on us, they have insurance in that top tier that covers our lodging if we get stuck somewhere. So like I said, we actually got really lucky and figured out how to properly do this from the start. We booked our very first house sit immediately, and it was actually for 3 months in Panama during winter in the States where we're from. So bonus.
No matter what house sitting site you decide to use, you will go through an application process. And this is very, very important. You do want to pay attention to this. There will be at some point a profile or bio, and that is your resume. So don't just put, "Hi, I'm fun. I want to come watch your dogs." You need to be a little more serious about this and give some information, some of your interests or hobbies, some of your experience with animals, and be pretty thorough. Make sure you've got a couple of paragraphs there.
Absolutely. And if you get the opportunity on the site that you choose, to use pictures also. I wouldn't really go with the I'm having fun, I'm a great party person, I've got, beer bottles laying around in a messy house. We chose to use pictures of us with our pets, with friends and neighbors' pets, and really
with family and friends. And
remember, this is your first impression, or the first impression that you're going to give somebody else of you.
the next most important thing, after you have piqued the interest of someone and they have actually contacted you, you need to send them basically a cover letter. You need to introduce yourself and look very, very closely at their listing. Find out if there's pets, make sure you know their names. Name their pet. If they are into sailing or backpacking or race car driving, whatever it happens to be, if you have any kind of connection with that or any kind of experience with that, mention it so that they feel a little bit of a connection with you before you ever speak to them.
Now, since we do this full time, when we have the alerts, which we'll talk about that in a minute, when we get the alert, we immediately respond to it. And instead of having to write a long, detailed letter every time, we actually created a template that we just cut and paste and drop in there. It literally takes a few seconds.
Yes.
And it allows us to personalize that letter using the dog or animal's names to mention things that are important so that we have an instant connection with these homeowners.
We've found that is the best way to actually have a homeowner reach out and say, yes, I would like to video chat with you and see about you watching my fur babies.
In the video chat, we always end our intro letter with, we are available to video chat via multiple different
platforms.
We list them on there. We give them our contact information, and then we let them know that we are really looking forward to having a conversation with them, and we leave the ball in their court and step back. So what we actually do is we know certain places that we want to go. And like right now, we're making this video from the airport in Panama City, Panama, where we have spent the last 5 months doing 2 house sits here in the tropics. And we're here to catch a flight today to Athens, Greece.
Yay, Greece.
Yes, Michelle's very happy. We're going to spend the next 3 months on a waterfront private resort on the island of Milos.
Yes.
I mean, who could ask for anything more? So here's our process of how we go about this. With the Trusted House Sitters, our preferred site, we can actually do a search. Tell them where we want to go, what dates we want to go, what animals we are looking to take care of. I personally am highly allergic to cats.
And I don't do anything with snakes.
So we're kind of picky about what we want. We put that in there, and even if it's not available right now, there will be one become available, and we tell the site to alert us when this happens. When the alert goes off, that's when that cover letter comes into play.
Yes, that's when you want to pay close attention to their listing and to their pets if there are some, and you want to personalize, whether you've made a template or not, you go back through it and you personalize certain parts of it so that you get a connection with the owners immediately.
Now, when you do get contacted by the owners for that video chat, which we haven't had one yet that did not want to see our faces, we make real sure that we do, when we set up the camera or the telephone to do this, we're very, very picky that we do not record somebody else's house.
No.
So we'll usually set up either outside, someplace quiet, maybe even on the couch, just a window or a wall behind us, so it's indiscreet. Discreet. Michelle likes to have her hair right. I like to put a ball cap on so you can't see my hair. And we settle in. We review the listing so we know exactly what's going on. And we always have questions for the homeowner.
Make a list of questions.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be anything specific. If they mention that the dog is older, I like to ask, are there any medical reason or medical conditions for the dog? Do they have daily medications? Sometimes the dogs don't even want to be walked. They just want to be turned out into the garden a few times a day. We want that information.
We do.
Another big one is transportation.
Yes, because we do not own a vehicle anymore. So we need to make sure that there is a way for us to get supplies, to get groceries. So are we in a town or a village? Is there a public transportation system if we are not? So we're usually pretty specific about that. Many of the house sits actually do come with a car, but if they don't, or if they're in England where they drive on a different side of the road, where we don't particularly want to drive, then we need to know, just the basic necessity, where we're going to get the basic necessities from. Remember that this chat with the owner is actually an interview. It's like a job interview. So do pay attention to your setting, pay attention to your attire, pay attention to your manner, and just as if you wanted to impress a future employer.
Absolutely. Now, really, everybody has their own way of doing this, and I wouldn't say any of it's wrong, but I do watch a lot of the Facebook groups and a lot of discussion groups about this. I mean, this is what we do nowadays. This is how we are able to travel around the world, and we've been gone for a year now. By no means are we experts at this yet. But this is how we've chosen to spend at least the next couple of years of our lives, and go. We love to travel, and this is an affordable way for us to do it. So take it seriously. You really ought to consider doing that if you really want this to work out. Whether it just be for your 2-week vacation or holiday, or you're a digital nomad and you'd like to see the entire world. We booked 200 nights doing this before we had a single review. And I know that's a big deal for people. How do you get that first review? What do you do? There's a lot of advice out there, a lot of ways to do this. But if you follow what we did, I think it probably worked for you. You'll get up there where we are right now with well over 300 this year to do.
And stay tuned, because we'll have future videos that give some more details about not only how to get your first bookings, but how to make sure that you are rebooked, sometimes by the same person, and make sure that you can continue this stream of traveling around the world through house sitting.
So, if you found this helpful at all, would you consider hitting that like button right down there? Little thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see future videos, please hit that subscribe button.
We'll catch up with you guys, well, probably from Greece.
Yeah.
Or, well, Turkey's after Greece. Who knows? So, it was nice to meet y'all.
Bye.